So I decided that it's time to make a cross-cut sled for this stuff. Because of the way that this is designed, or the way that I built it, this guy here is just a shade lower than this, so the shuttle itself will slide over the top. But when I put the rails in it, it's going to run into it. This is a temporary outfit cable, so I'm not going to worry about it. I don't want to go cutting into it or anything like that now, because I'm going to end up using that for something else. Now, the biggest thing that everybody talks about is the fact that this is a safer piece to use. So I'm trying to design this so it's the safest I could possibly make it. And one of the things that I wanted to do was to ensure, or to ensure proper safety, you always go worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is that this blade is at its maximum height. That's when you're going to have the most blade exposed to your hands in the back. So we're going to stop this right at it. It's even with the edge of the board here, and I put a mark. That's about where the rivet is. It would be dead center. That would be where top dead center is. What that does, at max height, with this side of the board, it'll stop here at the end. It'll go to its maximum height, or maximum amount of cutting. So I need to run my 2x4, well I'm going to use a 2x6, all the way across over here, and that's going to be my stop. I have that much lumber protecting me from the blade. What that's also going to do is, at the time that when, I want to show here, I put my cross piece here, I'm going to have another piece that's going to come across the back over here, so that what we're going to do is we're going to totally enshroud this blade behind the cutting area. It gives me, when I pull this back, it still brings it out to level. And it gives me a nice surface area here. I don't know if you can see that. Even though it's hanging off the edge of the saw. And so it'll go like that. Well, after some discussion with my minions, we decided that it was time to kind of take a break. Not a break. I was kind of forced to take a break before that because It got stormy and the thunder and everything like that. Those two dogs that bark all the time, they were kind of panicking, so I had to go over there and kind of calm them down. So, yeah, I'm a nice guy. It also helps people from tearing up the house when they get it. Since I'm here home all the time, that's kind of like one of my duties. So, we got it down to where I've got it all fitted in and everything, and we're going to go ahead and continue on. And when we get done, I'll have to have a post commentary or something like that maybe, so stay tuned for the whole deal. It gets better, I hope. Over here on the Texas coast, the way humidity fluctuates so much, the only actual material to use for a guide would either be metal of some type, steel or aluminum, or a plastic. Because it's got, if you use hardwood, it swells. One day you won't, it'll swell up so bad that you can't get them in the guide, and another day it'll shrink down to the point that you'll have thousands, even hundreds of side-to-side movement. So I went with HDPE. This kind of a big sheet, and I trimmed them down, cut them down so they fit, and they fit good. They're actually, and they slide good, but there's no side play. I don't know if you can see that. There's minimal side play. And the thing about HDPE is that when you put a screw in it, it will spread. Doesn't matter if you go in from this side or from the back side. They'll twist a little. Gluing them down is a challenge. So anyway, you look at it, you're going to end up having to trim them down a little bit to fit them in. Hang on a second. My tools of the trade are scrapers, a knife, you can trim it with a knife, a rasp, a really good, this is a ink, this is a paint marker. My dad's stir form tool, and I got one more tool that I put away. Because it calls out my minions all the time. Is this scraper. This guy is sharp, and it will take a very nice curl off. The only problem is that HDPE is soft enough that if you don't help to control it when you're doing it, it'll slip and have you call out for minions. Once you've gotten it to where that it'll go in there and you can get it to move. I mean, this was so bad I couldn't even drop it down in there. And by using a straight line and a straight line and running across parallel, I can see where the humps were. And I worked the humps down, and then we start fine tuning it. And that's where the scrapers and files and just taking off a little bit at a time. Once you get to the point that it's moving pretty good, you take and you paint the sides. And after you paint the sides, you slide it through a few times, and I don't know if you can see that, but you can see where the spots are, where it's dragging. There aren't any on this side. So I've got a very small amount here and a very small amount here. But I don't want to overdo it because I don't want any side play. I would rather that it was a little bit tight than have an excessive side play. So we'll just kind of like take a twirl or two off. Right along here, because it is along the length. I'll probably have to make another pass. Even I'm doing this on a bench is a lot easier. And eventually you get to the point it drops in. Look at that. It's smooth. And it doesn't slide, it's going to be a lot looser after we wax it. But it's smooth. And it comes across, and you can see there's zero end play whatsoever. So we have no torquing. Now, once I set this in and ensure that it's square, it's going to stay there. The last one that I did this once. This is actually only the second time I've done this. And the first time I did it was with the other saw. And I spent 3 days trying to figure out how the heck I was going to bring that side down. And that was because I screwed in from the bottom up. From the top down, it expands it, but not as much. And it still holds it. It's not going anywhere. We're solid as he drops. So the next thing that we've got to do is I've got to square up my 2x6. I've got to find it first. I don't have a jointer or anything like that, anything fancy. I don't even have a planer. My dad never owned a jointer or a planer. He didn't even own a hand plane. He used that surf-rolling tool, files, and a sander. And whenever I asked him about a jointer, he used to say, since we're not doing this professionally, our labor cost is about 25 cents an hour. You could sand for a lot of hours to be able to justify a planer or a jointer. Well, we also figured out a way to cheat. Let's go ahead and square up that stuff. That 2x6, it's going to end up being about 1 inch wide. Hopefully, by the time I get done, it'll be about 1 inch wide and 3.5 inches tall.